One of the key challenges that many businesses and organizations face is securing funding to support their growth and development. One funding option that is often misunderstood and overlooked is grants. If you've always been curious about grant writing, but felt overwhelmed by the process, then you are in for a real treat today. Today, we're going to be diving headfirst into the fascinating world of grant writing with none other than Anita Newsom, aka AnitaN The Biz Coach. Anita is a business consultant and funding strategist who specializes in grant proposal writing and development. As the owner, president, and chief consultant of Emerging Venture Enterprises LLC, she brings her expertise to the table to teach you everything you need to know about becoming grant ready. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to learn from one of the best in the business. So stay tuned to learn more. Hey y'all, it's Harriet with a brand new video, and I am excited, so excited that we are joined today by Anita. Anita, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you here.
Harriet, oh my goodness, I am so honored to be here with you and everyone else.
Awesome. Yes, I'm super excited because I know that this is a hot topic for many entrepreneurs. So before we get into the details, if you are new here, welcome. I'm Harriet M. Harris, the Limitless Business Coach. I empower ambitious women to shatter their self-imposed limitations so that they can thrive in life and business, and so they can live a life without limits. On my channel, I share tips, resources, strategies for all things life and business, from entrepreneurship to mindset shifts and personal development. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you will be notified when my next video goes live. As a business coach, I've had countless conversations with entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs who are frustrated because they lack funding that they need in order to launch or grow their businesses. That's precisely why I'm thrilled to have Anita here with us today, so that she can share with you all about grants. So I want you to grab your pens and your paper and get ready to be inspired and learn how grants can open up new possibilities for your business, providing you with the funding that you need to succeed. So let's dive in. Anita, can you start by telling us a bit about you and what you do?
Well, Harriet, thank you for asking. I tell you, this just kind of started over 20 years ago, a passion that I got from helping my church at the time. We formed a grant writing team, and we were trying to expand, our private school and daycare. And so, it created in me a desire to learn more, to, be able to help other organizations like that in the community. And even though, through the years, I worked job after job, I always had that desire to still want to help, nonprofits, want to help, businesses get established. And so I finally took the dive and walked out on faith and said, you know what, I'm turning in my 30-day resignation as they require.
Okay. All right.
And I started this journey on my own in 2022, actually the end of 2021, and I haven't looked back. And I tell you, the people that I have met and been able to help has been amazing. And I'm just so thankful to be able to have taken that journey with them.
Wow, that is such an inspiring story. So you said since what you said 2021, you just said, hey, I'm turning in my 30-day notice and that's it, huh?
Yep, it was my Christmas present to myself. I never get
love
it.
that.
December the 10th. Yes, I had to do it.
Wonderful. That
Yeah.
is wonderful. Congratulations on making that move, because that's a bold move to make.
It was, especially being a single mom, even though all my sons are adults. I'm still head of household here, and we all live here together.
Hey,
So
okay.
it was a step of faith for real.
I bet. Well, look, Anita, many entrepreneurs they aren't really familiar with grants or how to assess them. So can you share with us whether grants are designed to help both for-profit and nonprofit organizations?
I'm glad you asked that question. Yes, they are. A lot of people think that they're just out there for nonprofits, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not just for nonprofits, they are for profits as well. And one of my colleagues has taught me, that both are businesses. So they're just different business structures, right?
That's true.
So,
Right.
there's just different requirements for when you're applying for either a business grant as far as for profit versus a nonprofit one.
Okay.
Nonprofit, they require more documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Most times they're more formal style. They're going to require a lot of data, and background and a lot of legal and tax documents, where maybe
Mm.
a business grant might not require all that. It's more, personable. They might want to know more
Ah.
about your story. You might get to
Mm.
share more testimonials if you have space for all of that, right? And so,
Right. Okay.
but they still do ask for some of the, same things, your background, your accomplishments.
Right.
What are you going to do with the money, your budget,
Mm-hmm.
your history of your organization. So those are some of the, for me, similar things that you probably see on both.
Okay, that's very interesting to know. And I mean, honestly, I'm happy to learn that it's an option for both um, profit and non-for-profit businesses, because I've had people to ask me about it and I really didn't know the answer, but now I know.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
now when it comes to finding the right grant opportunities, like what advice can you give to businesses or nonprofit business or nonprofit organizations, regardless of, you know, what their status is, profit or non-for-profit? Is there something specific that you can give them in their search for potential funding sources?
Well, one of the things that I really stress is making sure that they match what they do or what their solution is, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
a business providing a service or product,
Mm-hmm.
or if they're a nonprofit that where they have maybe projects or programs. Make sure those
Mm-hmm.
things align with whatever that funder is funding. You don't want to
Ah,
waste
okay.
time, because I always tell people time is money, right? You don't
Absolutely.
right. You don't want to waste time, that's gonna cause you frustration, then you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do it anymore. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you want to make sure you're using your time wisely and
Right.
making sure that what they're requiring, what the eligibility criteria is, matches who you are, right?
Right.
That's one of the main things that you want to do, and make sure that you have all the requirements they're asking for. And that's why I like to stress my 3-phase process that I like to go through with
Mm-hmm.
clients, especially if they're new to what I like to call the grant game, right? Where in the first phase is where most of the work goes. They're doing a lot of research, a lot of finding out and gathering information on their target population or ideal client. You know, um, they have to know everything about them, gather information on the problem they're
Right.
trying to solve, because they
Right.
have to
Right.
make sure whatever the problem is, that they actually have the solution to that problem in their community or for their ideal clients.
Okay, okay. So this is you're saying, just so I can reiterate, that when someone is completing an application for a grant, they want to make sure that what the grant is asking, like what their whatever, I guess you said solution, I believe, whatever solution that they're asking for, that your business, whether it's product, service, your for-profit, nonprofit, that it fits that solution, correct?
Exactly. It has to
Okay.
match. I mean, you can't miss one of the things. If it's a criteria that's required, you
Hmm.
got to make sure you meet that criteria.
Okay. Okay.
So reviewing those guidelines is very important at the very beginning. So like I said, you don't waste time.
Right, right. And then so when you're completing the application, but what about when you're trying to find that right grant, like for your for-profit, non-for-profit? Like what kind of advice could you give about finding the right grant opportunities? Like where do you look for them?
Well, a lot of people don't know that a lot of corporations have foundations. right? And most
Okay.
times, if it's a foundation, most times it is for a nonprofit. Let's say, for instance, Target, Home Depot, um, where's another one I was just looking at? Like, of course, Walmart, Kroger's. I just found one for Aldi, Chick-fil-A, Pepsi, Coke. There's a lot
Wow.
of them that have foundations that fund, different causes in the community, right?
Okay. Okay.
When it comes to the business side, like for grants for that, there
Mm-hmm.
may be celebrities actually that have causes and things that they do. There's banks
Oh,
that actually fund, different business, grants and businesses like that. Since George Floyd and all that happened with that, there have been a
mm-hmm.
lot of corporations that wanted to cater to, minorities, black
Wow.
owned, and all of those a lot of them came out after that time period. So there's a lot of, more banks, more, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
more corporations and things of that nature that,
Wow.
cater to different eligible businesses as well. So, you
Okay.
know,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, how important is it for organizations to carefully assess and select the most suitable grants for their specific needs and objectives? And I know you mentioned that a little bit when you're filling out the application, but just so that our audience really understands the importance of that, like how important is that?
Ah, wow. It's very important because, like I said before, you don't want to uh, apply for something that you're not qualified for and
Mm-hmm.
then continue to do that. And then, like I said, you get frustrated because
Yeah.
the grant process takes a lot of patience. I mean, you may, an organization or whatever may apply 20 or 30 a year or more.
Wow.
You might not get one. You might get one or you might get two, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't give up. That's the thing. A lot of people give up, their the whole process because it's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have time for this, and that's why I try to cater to both. I have people that work with me as well that help to do all of the work. If they don't feel like doing the research because that's where a lot of
Mm.
a lot of the work goes into the writing is least of your problems. That's the easy part, really. It's all the information that you have to
That you got to
gather to put
gather.
together.
Ah,
Yes, yes.
wow.
So
I can imagine.
yes, you have to put in that time for because the name of the game is research.
So
Yes.
for some reason, and you know what, I may not be the only person, so I'm just gonna put this out there. But for some reason, I have this thought that writing a grant is like writing an essay, like a big, thick research paper. Am I off track there, or is that what it's like?
I could see it comparing it a little bit to that, thinking back
Okay.
to my getting my master's a couple of years ago, what that was like and what and I've helped people with their dissertations. So yeah, I know a lot of research goes into, making and creating that type of work. So I could
Mm-hmm.
see it being compared to that. I never thought about it. But yes, I could kind of see that, especially like I said, when you're having to look up, peer reviewed
Mm-hmm.
literature, and also what I tell clients as well is, create your own research, do your own surveys, do your own
Mm.
interviews, interview your
Wow,
ideal
that's a good
clients,
idea.
interview
Yeah.
the population that you serve, get their input, because a lot of times we'll think we have the answers that they need, and then
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
actually interview them, and they're like, well, no, that's not as much of a problem as this is. And then you're like, oh, wow,
Right.
we didn't even know that. So do your own research, create your own measuring, like grantors and reviewers like to say, you have to be able to measure your success. So especially with nonprofit,
Right.
you have to have, you're gonna have to tell them how are you going to measure your success? How are we going to know you were successful at
Mm.
reaching your
Right.
goal, your outcome?
Right.
And so, you got to say, well, we're going to do surveys, formative and summative. So at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
midpoint, and end, we'll be doing surveys to see the progress, if
Okay.
there's any at all, and all that kind of stuff. So all of those things are very important, when it comes to this grant game.
Grant game. I like that. So, Anita, in your experience, are there any common misconceptions or challenges that businesses or organizations face when they're trying to find grants that are the best fit for their mission and goals?
Well, I don't know if you might have mentioned this earlier, but knowing where to look can be a
Mm-hmm.
challenge sometimes. Um, Getting them approved, you know. Um, so just knowing how, what the funder is looking for, you have to really look at the questions or, what they're asking you. And because these online, I'm telling you, these online applications, that's part of the game too. You may have, let's say, 1,000 words in a
Mm-hmm.
particular section. Let's say your accomplishment section is, 1,000 words. But on this
Mm-hmm.
online application, they say you can only use 300. So you like, wait a minute, how am I supposed to? So yeah, you got to play the cut and paste game. That's why I like to create a grant template, and then I put everything in
Mm.
grant template, and then I try to pull out the meat that they're asking for, and then be able to put in those spaces, because you don't know if it's
Wow.
words, sometimes it's characters. You don't know how many characters, what all they're counting in that. So you just have to cut and paste and play with it until you get, what you
Wow.
really need. It, yeah,
That's some
girl.
work.
It
That is
is. It
some
takes a
work.
lot of time. That's why people don't want to do it. That's why, it's
Mm.
very tedious, and it takes a lot of work. So, like I said,
Yeah.
time is money. If people don't want, what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you got to pay this if that's what you want.
Now I'm gonna go back to before you did mention, and I forgot to do this as a follow-up. You mentioned that there were a lot of like restaurants and businesses that offered grants for like their for nonprofits. What about a business, like a business that's trying to get established and they're looking for a grant? Where would you say they should be looking, or what should they be looking for to find grants that they can apply for?
Well, like I was mentioning, also, I've come across a lot of celebrities that have started things. There's a lot
Okay.
of banks as well that have um, grants and funding for, especially for women-owned businesses, especially for
Okay.
minorities, those type of entities.
So those are
Um,
for, did you mention those were for both profit and nonprofit?
yes, yes,
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I think I got that confused. Okay, okay. Then
yes,
you've already answered that question. Okay. Now, when you think about like businesses or organizations that are fairly new to the grant application process or brand new, what are some essential factors that they should consider while they're searching for and evaluating grant opportunities to ensure they're focusing on the right ones?
Well, one of the things that I suggest, because for some reason I have a lot of, most people that come to me are pretty new, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're newly established, or just establishing, or asking me to help them establish their business, or
Mm-hmm.
your nonprofit, right? So when you're new to the game and you don't have, any accomplishments, or you don't
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
any things to, say that this is what we've done, and so we found out that this does work, whatever, right? Is to work with other organizations that are already doing stuff, right?
Mm.
So let's say, for instance, and it could be a nonprofit with a business, right? So let's
Okay.
say, for instance, let's use Girls Inc., right?
Okay.
Let's say Girls Inc., they're nonprofit, I do believe, and so
Mm-hmm.
they're applying for a grant. And let's say
Okay.
a part of this grant includes, they have to, whatever this program that they're trying to get funded includes a segment for movement, some type of movement activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's a business owner that is either a personal trainer, maybe a dance instructor, something like that. They can work hand in hand with that business.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that business is brand new, or even a nonprofit is brand new, and they are working with somebody else that can provide some of those services they cannot provide. So partnering
Okay.
up with somebody else that already is established and they get funding all the time,
Mm-hmm.
look be their contractor, look to be their partner, because grants really, these funders really look for partnerships. That's one of the main things they want to look for,
Right.
to see if you're working with other people, because
Okay.
everybody doesn't have the answer to everything. You can't
That's
solve all
true.
the problems.
That's
So
right.
in that example, you call in and you work with or you hire, right? And
Right.
then that new nonprofit or whatever that you're partnering with will get a chunk of that change, and now
Mm-hmm.
they have some experience. They have something back on their tool belt right now that they
Right.
can, yeah, we've done this, and now they can add that and continue to do that maybe until they want to, start applying on their own for their own grants. And
Okay.
now they can say they're established. They have this experience now with working with others. So that's one of the
Ah,
things I suggest a lot of times when they're new.
okay. So you said Girls Inc. and they needed movement. So you said partnering with the trainer or gym. Now, what would they need to do like in that partnership? Like what about that partnership is going to help them with the grant?
Well, first you want to, most times, and even if they don't ask for it, if the funder doesn't ask for it, you want to
Hmm.
establish what we call a MOU, a memorandum of understanding,
Hmm.
or some type of letter saying that they are going to partner with you, right? This is going to be one of
Okay.
your partners, community partners. And so, what you want to look for is, like I said, if you're brand new, like if it's Girls Inc., and then this business just started, so
Hmm.
they might not qualify for a grant or whatever right now, right?
Right.
Even though businesses actually have more opportunities for startups when it comes to funding than do nonprofits. Nonprofits, you don't get any money to start up. It's very, very rare, very
Wow.
rare.
Wow.
But you'll find more startup funding for businesses than you will for nonprofits. But let's
Okay.
just say, well, let's use another example. If it's two nonprofits, so it's Girls Inc., and let's say it's just a fairly new nonprofit, because I actually
Hmm.
have a client that is a personal trainer and she has a
Okay.
gym. So in that scenario, she's new, you know, she provides this service to Girls Inc. The
Hmm.
girl, either she goes to them, to their facility, or they come to hers,
Hmm.
right? And now this is her, like I said, her organization now is getting experience. Now you're not
Ah,
brand new anymore, right?
right.
Where you didn't have anything at first. Now
Okay.
I could say, I work with Girls Inc. Everybody know about Girls Inc., right?
Okay. Okay.
So, no, girls and boys and girls club, you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
YMCA. So I've worked with them. So this is a big name people recognize. And it's like, oh, okay.
Mm.
That's how, you use some skin in the game that way.
Okay. I like that. That makes sense. So you work with them and now you have something to put on your grant application.
Exactly. Yes.
Nice, nice. Okay. So um if you think about like resources or tools that you would recommend for finding and researching grants that cater to specific needs for nonprofit or for-profit businesses, what are some tools that you would recommend?
Okay. So um some are free and some are paid for, right? I
Okay.
have databases that I pay for, and there's some free ones that I tap into as well.
Okay.
Um, as far as nonprofits, a couple that are good to, tap into. One is called the Foundation Directory,
Okay.
right? Now that is online. You can either pay for it yourself, or
Mm-hmm.
most cities have in their major libraries, they have it,
Mm.
they have it paid for, so it's free for you to go use
Wow.
it.
Okay.
So you just have to go to your local library or call and find out first if they do have it. So that
Okay.
one is called, the Foundation Directory. Then the big one is grants.gov,
Okay.
and grants.gov. Most times they're nonprofits, but seldom you can find stuff for profit businesses as
Oh,
well.
wow.
But when it comes to grants.gov, there's some registrations you have to do first. You know, you
Okay.
have to do SAMS.gov registration. You might need to have a DUNS number, those type of things in place. You're definitely going to have to be structured. Can't be talking
Right.
about you doing business and you don't have no EIN number. You don't have no,
Exactly.
LLC, your C Corp, S Corp, something,
Something.
something. Right. Because when you start applying, they're going to start asking for this kind of documentation. So
Right.
those are some of the resources. And I would also say, but like I said, also they can look up, major corporations may have foundations. I found, like I said, some banks that have some. And when you're doing searches on, just doing general, probably Google searches, keywords are important. So let's say, you're looking for, funding for the homeless. You might have to look in your state, because you'd be surprised. See, what happens is it's a funnel. This is pretty much like everything else. The federal government has all the money, right? So
Right.
they can
Right. Right.
create it. So from there, it funnels down to the states, right?
Okay.
And from the states, it goes to the counties and the cities,
Got
right?
it.
So
Got it.
you can
Got it.
find funding in your state, in your city, in your county as well. So, you just have to be creative, build relationships. I'm going to put that out there.
Yes.
This is just like anything else. If they know
Yes.
you, they will want to do business with you. So if you're showing up, and you calling and you have a relationship, if you work with the elderly, you start a relationship with the AAA, which is the area agency on aging, and they know you, and they're like, if something comes through, you're gonna be one of the first ones to find out about the funding coming through, because they have a relationship with you. They know you. They know
Right.
what you're doing. They've seen you in the community. So I would
Right.
say get involved in the community. You know, get involved in the community. Join your local chamber. Join community organizations that receive funding, and then like I said, you can build partnerships and all kinds sorts of things. So
Right. Yeah.
that's I guess that's my spiel on that.
Oh, wow. That's really good information. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your expertise on grant writing and just helping us to better understand, what we need to do and who it's for and how we can start looking for them. So, thank you, Anita. And I
Yes.
know you have something that you want to share with everyone. So if you'll go ahead and share what you have coming up.
Well, on May 19th, I have I kind of sort of call it a Ask the Expert event. It's what I'm calling my Business Basics 101. And we'll be talking a little bit about, grant funding, all some of the things that we talked about today, maybe more in detail.
Okay.
Some other business basics, that people need to know before they get into the grant game,
Right.
right? All those things that go along with it, and they can bring their questions with them. So, I'll be
Okay.
available. I may have one or two other experts, I'm not sure yet, might be available as well to be able to share their expertise on some of
Okay.
this information also. And so it's going to be
Okay.
at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a Friday, May 19th. That's my next thing coming up. And I think, well, you have all the links and everything, so you can definitely share
Yes.
with them how
Oh,
to
absolutely.
register and get the information and come on and join us.
Yes, I'll absolutely be sharing all of that. So you can find that in the description. So thank you again, Anita. I really, really appreciate you coming on, collaborating with me so that we can put this message out about grants and grant writing. For all of the watchers, viewers out there, if you are ready to start your business, or you're ready to start the planning of your business, I want you to be sure to check out my upcoming Visual Business Plan Masterclass. That's going to be on May 25th. And I'll be walking you through how to get your business idea out of your head and all planned out. And you can find that link in the description as well. If you need some guidance on getting your business started, book a complimentary business goals chat with me, where we can talk through what your goals are and we can start creating a strategy for your business. And you can find that link to my calendar in the description as well. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I want you to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye, y'all.
Bye.